al-Bukhari 1851. Narrated Ibn Abbas. A man was in the company of the Prophet, and his she-camel crushed his neck while he was in a state of ihram, and he died. Allah's messenger said, "Wash him with water and sidr and shroud him in his two garments, neither perfume him nor cover his head, for he will be resurrected on the day of resurrection, reciting Talbiyah." Sahih al-Bukhari 1852. Narrated Ibn Abbas. A woman from the tribe of Juhayna came to the Prophet and said, "My mother had vowed to perform Hajj, but she died before performing it. May I perform Hajj on my mother's behalf?" The Prophet replied, "Perform Hajj on her behalf. Had there been a debt on your mother, would you have paid it or not? So, pay Allah's debt, as he has more right to be paid." Sahih al-Bukhari 1853. Narrated Ibn Abbas. A woman from the tribe of Qatham came in the year of Hajj al-Wada of the Prophet and said, "O Allah's messenger, my father has come under Allah's obligation of performing Hajj, but he is a very old man and cannot sit properly on his mount. Will the obligation be fulfilled if I perform Hajj on his behalf?" The Prophet replied in the affirmative. Sahih al-Bukhari 1854. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. Al-Fadl was riding behind the Prophet, and a woman from the tribe of Qatham came up. Al-Fadl started looking at her, and she looked at him. The Prophet turned Al-Fadl's face to the other side. She said, "My father has come under Allah's obligation of performing Hajj, but he is a very old man and cannot sit properly on his mount. Shall I perform Hajj on his behalf?" The Prophet replied in the affirmative. That happened during Hajjat al-Wada of the Prophet. Sahih al-Bukhari 1855. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas, R.A. Al-Fadl was riding behind the Prophet, and a woman from the tribe of Qatham came up. Al-Fadl started looking at her, and she looked at him. The Prophet turned Al-Fadl's face to the other side. She said, "My father has come under Allah's obligation of performing Hajj, but he is a very old man and cannot sit properly on his rahila, mount. Shall I perform Hajj on his behalf?" The Prophet replied affirmative. That happened during Hajjat al-Wada of the Prophet. Sahih al-Bukhari 1856. Arat ibn Abbas. The Prophet sent me to Mina with the luggage from Jam, i.e. al-Muzdalifah, at night. Sahih al-Bukhari 1857. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. I came riding on my she-ass and had just then attained the age of puberty. Allah's messenger was praying at Mina. I passed in front of a part of the first row and then dismounted from it, and the animal started grazing. I aligned with the people behind Allah's messenger. The sub-narrator added that happened in Mina during the Prophet's Hajjat al-Wada. Sahih al-Bukhari 1858. Narrated as Sa'ib bin Yazid. While in the company of my parents, I was made to perform Hajj with Allah's messenger, and I was a 7-year-old boy then. Fath al-Bari, page 443, volume 4. Sahih al-Bukhari 1859. Narrated Al-Juwayd bin Abdurrahman. I heard Umar bin Abdul Aziz telling about Sa'ib bin Yazid that he had performed Hajj, while carried, with the belongings of the Prophet. Sahih al-Bukhari 1860. Narrated Ibrahim's grandfather that Umar, R.A., in his last Hajj allowed the wives of the Prophet to perform Hajj, and he sent with them Uthman bin Affan, R.A., and Abdurrahman bin Auf, R.A., as escorts.